Are we good? Are we good? Okay. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Ajo to Love, your host is here. I tell you, that was some pay-per-view we witnessed Sunday night. AEW Revolution, highlighted by Sting's last match. Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team titles in the main event. Now, it wasn't just, although it was very credited for that match in the main event, we did get some very good matches just overall throughout the card. Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston, that was very good. Will Ospreay versus Takeshita. Will Ospreay now full-time with AEW. If that's the standard we know what people he can do wrestle with in AEW, then going forward it's only going to get better. The world title match with Samoa Joe, Swerve, and Hangman, that was very fun as well, as Samoa Joe retains. Before I get into reviews, I have to talk about two things. So, first of all, the spots of the show. I mean, Darby Allin is going to be set to climb Mount Everest at the end of the month. And he said in reports and interviews that it scares him what he and Sting are going to do for his last match. And what happened, I don't know what to say. I mean, the visual. And for those who didn't see it, so the spot of the night, clearly. So, Darby Allin and the Bucks. Darby was on a ladder in the ring, a very tall ladder in the ring. And we know how reckless, we know how crazy Darby can get. So, they were installing some glass tables in the match. We saw a number of them being used. But nowhere was as gruesome as what happened. So, Darby was perched up on a ladder in the ring. Matthew Jackson was set up on a glass table that was set up on some chairs on the outside. Okay. And I think Darby Allin certainly made Jeff Hardy, I would say, in his most no fear impression, or for that, Darby just, I don't know what to say. Darby did a swanton off this ladder. And luckily for Matthew, Nicholas pulled him out of the way. And Darby went flush back first through this glass table. And you can just see on his back the amount of cuts. And I mean, Sting referred to it, and luckily Darby's okay. They referred to it in his post-match retirement promo. But I mean, like, I'm not sure how many stitches this is going to take. And Darby said he's going to die for him in his retirement match, but he's still breathing. Golly. I think everyone just had a step back, and yet Darby finished the match. He didn't have to, but credit to Darby. Yeah. I don't know what to say. That was, you know, it's tough because on one hand you praise it, on the other it's like, it's great to see, but on the other hand you're like, Darby, you don't know how many years he's going to be wrestling left, honestly. But he doesn't care. That spot, I think, had a lot of people lost for words. Yeah. So go from that spot. So, Sting. I've mentioned so many times, Sting. How I was brought up to Sting much in the 2000s in WCW. You know, thankfully due to the internet now and etc., I'm able to access highlights more so of Sting's career lately, the last few years. Beforehand, really TNA, his run in TNA, which I still think is underrated. His run in TNA was really how it was brought into how good Sting could be against some of the best in professional wrestling. And clearly, we know his run in WWE was left to be desired. Just left to be desired. It wasn't as... I think we'd all be lying if we said that Mr. McMahon and the ego in that company, or in the company of still the Monday Night Wars, And the fact that we didn't get Undertaker for Sting ever. We didn't get that at WrestleMania. Instead, it was Triple H for Sting. Triple H won. And there was that. And then we only saw Sting just a couple more times in WWE. He had that match with Seth Rollins, and there was that. Then comes to AEW in late 2020 at the first Winter is Coming event for AEW. And we are all curious, how would this run feature? How was Tony Khan going to best utilize Sting's abilities still? And lo and behold, he never had a singles match, for one. He was paired with Darby, and it got Darby over more so, made him better, and they were very great as tag team, and it helped create for Sting a number of good moments still in AEW. And in the press conference, it was great to hear that Tony Khan told Sting that he's going to go out the right way. And that match was wild, was hectic, may not be your cup of tea, but for Sting, certainly, that was something. That was a fun encounter, certainly, and just epitomize a fun-filled night at Revolution, in which we can appreciate it. Now Sting can relax in retirement. Sting and Tony Khan did say that, well, of course, Tony would like Sting to still be in some type of role in AEW now that his in-ring career is over. Yeah. But, I mean, Sting, first Mojo, first is Kurt Angle, first AJ Styles, against a number of solid acts then for TNA, and then going back to WCW versus Ric Flair, Clash of Champions, first Diamond Dallas Page, one of the best matches ever, Sting. List on and on. But, yeah, great to see, great to see. I think we can say we were certainly stunned about Sting and Darby retaining the titles, but nonetheless, Tony Khan did say that the titles would now be vacated and determined in a tournament. So, unique to say, because for weeks we've been saying that the tag team division needs to be put better, need a resurgence. Excuse me. Well, you're certainly bless me, you're certainly gonna have no choice in a tag team tournament to determine new tag team champions. But all in all, like I said, Revolution, very good, very moving, very fun show. Very good outcomes, and it was a fun, joyous ride, which we are now going to have to try to go over, but shall do that. If you guys could hit that subscribe button there in the corner, very much appreciated. It helps out video and my channel get more notoriety, and of course, if you want to be a member and you want to see more access to the channel, then very well do so. Yeah. So let's start and let's get into it, shall we? So, crap, I hate when I have too many apps open on my phone, but one sec. Da-da-da. Okay. So, first off, I did not see the pre-show 0 hour. 3 some odd matches to say. So, Chris Highlander, Will Nightingale beat Sky Blue and Julie Hart, pretty much getting Chris her win back from losing to Sky Blue on Wednesday. Clearly they're progressing this storyline with Stokely and them three. I hate saying the name, but the Bang Bang Scissor Gang between Bullet Club Gold and the Acclaimed, they defeated Jeff Jarrett and their crew of Jay Lethal, Sandam Singh, Sanjay Dutt, etc., along with Private Party. And another interesting note. So I and others have been vocal about Jay White and Bullet Club Gold's booking as of late. I have commented on AEW's post recently voicing about, I think we can agree, Jay White, Bullet Club Gold have only looked worse with being paired up with the Acclaimed and having the Ring of Honor 6-man titles on them instead of going after trio styles. It's only made them look worse. But it appears to make amends and to start up again. Jay White against who I don't know if he's going to be cleared, but Darby Allin in Boston in Big Business on March 13th. It should be a fun match. Jay White back in singles competition. Okay. We shall see. We shall see. But now on to the main show. Main card. Daniel Garcia versus Christian Cage, the leader of the patriarchy, who, in Nigel McGuinness' words, Father of the Year. So, early on, and I think some will agree too, hearing from the crowd, I was conflicted on the outcome, being not sure. But Daniel Garcia, see, the thing what you love about veterans and legends being in, such as Christian Cage, they're being helped meant to bring up the future, trying to better the future. And Daniel Garcia, he is one of those cats that, you know, since the Continental Classic, he has been on a good string of momentum, and we can tell he's improving, and he's certainly getting better. What you loved is he had like a Sting aspired jacket in his entrance, so that was a very good touch. Against Christian Cage, he could definitely won. I mean, we're bound to get Christian Cage versus Adam Copeland again sometime in the future. And he could have played a part in this match, but we did not see him. So, it's unique to see where they're headed. But from saw a match start the show, and Daniel Garcia, one of, if not his best matches to date. So, early on, back and forth, Christian, it was funny, he seeked advice in a timeout with Killswitch, Nick Wayne, and Mama Wayne, aka Shayna Wayne, and there's a cameraman trying to get in on the action. Christian spotted. Same with Shayna Wayne telling him to go away. And Killswitch just kind of scared him off. But, so Christian feigned injury, getting advantage on Garcia, old trick in the book. There's a point where he mocked Garcia, looking like he was going for the dance, but instead he just flexed on Garcia. So, cool thought. So, Garcia, he had moments in this match where he hit some flurries, and what good spot where he used Christian Cage's turtleneck up against him, which, you know, babyfaces should do more of, but his way is. So he went for 10 punches in the corner, but Garcia was dumped to the outside, followed a dive by Christian, and then back in the ring. Garcia then started targeting the ankle of Christian, and, you know, certainly affected Christian's offense throughout the rest of the match. So Garcia, he was on the outside, he got thrown in the post. Garcia then, while trying to get back in the ring, spotting with some flurries, hit a big bicycle kick off the ropes. And then the spot where I alluded to, in the corner, and Garcia went for 10 punches. And he lifted up the turtleneck over the face of Christian. And he just hit him down. So that was a good spot in the match. And then Garcia followed up with a sunset flip for a near fall. Then back on the outside of the ring, Garcia hit a drop kick, followed. He threw Christian, and Christian propelled over the steps. Finally back in the ring, Christian would get the advantage back with an eye poke and then a backbreaker for a near fall. Christian then found himself in an ankle lock by Garcia. Crowd was very into it. They were definitely behind Garcia. But kill switch with the interference caught Garcia. Christian followed up with a frog splash for a near fall. Matt Menard. So he wasn't on commentary, but you knew he was going to be into this match some way. So, trying to even the odds a bit, he attacked Killswitch at ringside, and he and Mama Wayne, aka Shane Wayne, had a bit of face-to-face. Sad suddenly popped because, got popped because, Matt Menard's nickname is Daddy Magic, and then, of course, Shane Wayne is called Mama Wayne, so put two and two together and then get the pop there. So, like I said, Menard took out Killswitch for the rest of the match. Garcia hit a pile driver, but only got a near fall. Christian then got the win here with a kill switch, followed up 1, 2, 3, and there's the win there. So, quality stuff there. Yeah, the crowd was certainly unique for this match. Next up, Kingston versus Bryan Danielson. One thing we can appreciate about the Continental Classic and the Continental crowd is how Kingston has risen through the ranks. Now, since winning the Continental Classic, it's been fun. People obviously have mixed reactions to Kingston. It is what it is, but can't deny against Bryan Danielson, credit Bryan's one of the best in the world, but Kingston and Bryan Danielson had a hell of a performance, hell of a match. One you can't appreciate, and definitely the best match together thus far. So, start off some back and forth, and then with Bryan Danielson, he had his kicks to try to weaken the knees of Eddie, whereas with Eddie, he had his chops. So, bit back and forth as far as that aspect. Eddie, he had suicide on the outside. Bryan, as they were few on the apron, he hit a suplex off the apron. It had to have sucked for both of them. He then was targeting the wrists of Eddie, hence technical, claiming to be the best technical wrestler in the world, Bryan Danielson. And yeah, you can kind of tell that Eddie was feeling it. So, Bryan went for a missile drop kick off the ropes, but caught into an exploder. Eddie went for a submission of his own, the stretch plum, and landed some Blackpool Combat Club like elbows to Bryan, giving some of his own medicine. Bryan then caught up Eddie up against the corner, hit a few corner drop kicks. Eddie would fly out, get the advantage back. He had half and half for a near fall. Good transition here, so they were on the top rope, and Bryan has done this a few times. Bryan hit a avalanche butterfly suplex off the top into a Rings of Saturn. That was a good transition, but Eddie fought out after getting to the ropes. And then Eddie hit a Northern Lights bomb for a near fall. Bryan would fall up and hit a bicycle knee for himself, but only got a near fall. So he landed some stomps similar to how he finished them on Wednesday, but did not prevail. Landed some stomps on Eddie and went for a triangle choke, but Eddie fought out. Bryan with it, some yes kicks, but Eddie countered. They dumped each other on each other's head for separation, and the crowd certainly was eating it up. So then they went for, had some strikes back and forth. They were exchanging, and then Eddie, he landed a powerbomb on Bryan. Then 1, 2, 3, and Eddie Kingston beats Bryan Danielson again. Something. He beat him in the Continental Classic, and here again, he beat Bryan Danielson again. You know, but the joyous thing was afterwards. Bryan Danielson has been leading this "he's a bum" movement of Eddie Kingston for weeks and weeks now. Weeks and weeks. And there's a great video, I encourage you to see it, of them in the trainer's room after this match, talking to each other. So, Bryan offered his hand to Eddie for a handshake, and Eddie obliged and shook each other's hands, and Bryan raised the arm of Eddie. And after, in the trainer's room, Eddie talked about, well, All he's ever wanted was Bryan's respect. That's all. Because when he's gone, when he's over, that's the thing. Guys like him, guys like everyone else, guys like Joe, they're going to be talking about him. So yeah, telling of a story and a fun match, certainly can see. Again, so yeah, Bryan, it's his last year full time. Will Ospreay is now in AEW full time. I think definitely the match to make Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. When? Likely for Wembley. Certainly that would be a match for Wembley's fans to appreciate. Kenny Omega. Is it possible for another match? We'll see. Clearly Kenny's recovering. Did see a photo posted saying he's looking better, which obviously is a good sign. Hopefully he has a smooth recovery and he takes time and he comes back when he's ready to come back. But if it's possible, I think we'd all love to see a sequel or a rematch between Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega. Certainly, that's for sure. But yeah, we'll see about Eddie. We'll see about Bryan. Good stuff. Good stuff. So this match certainly changed a bit. So originally, and I already talked about it a bit the other day, but the All-Star 8-Man Scramble that originally was made out to be Meat Madness. So, any event. This match, clearly one goal, one objective. Give Wardlow a big win and try to justify him being the number one contender now for the AEW World Championship. So, here we had Chris Jericho versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Lance Archer versus Wardlow versus Hook versus Brian Cage versus Magnus of CMLL. Now, first thing, again, sorry if I haven't heard of Magnus before. The only Magnus I've heard of is when Nick Aldis was Magnus in TNA. Apologies for that, but so he apparently won a qualifier to get to here. And then Dante Martin won a match for Bryan Keith and Penta on Collision to get to this match. This match, honestly, it sucks because I love all the parties involved. I love Jericho, Hobbs, Lance Archer. Guys know my feelings about Hook. He's on the up and up. Brian Cage. See, here's the thing. We had Wardlow, Powerhouse, Hobbs, and Chris Jericho, and a little bit of a thing on Collision, where Wardlow cut another very good promo. So, yeah, appreciate about that. But as far as a world title shot, I'd be lying if I didn't say, what have these men done to receive a world title shot? First and foremost, but alas, this match was fun in some aspects. So, for a bit, it was, I imagine, the original competitors in Meat Madness, as it was Archer, Brian Cage, Wardlow, and Hobbs in the middle of the ring. And they were trying to knock each other down, but to no avail. But Chris Jericho had some flurry of offense in this match. Obviously, the issue with Hobbs apparently still is there, as they were certainly feuding for pretty much all throughout this match. So, Jericho hit a code breaker for near fall, then a dive on both Hobbs and Magnus on the outside. Hobbs took Jericho down with a power slam on the outside. So, there's that. In the end, Dante took a big powerbomb from Wardlow. 1, 2, 3. And Wardlow gets victory. I think we can contribute that, yeah. Wardlow, right winner, was the only right winner in that aspect. If you want to keep the Undisputed Kingdom looking good, well, they certainly tried their job in this for Revolution tonight, or last night. And then sticking with the Undisputed Kingdom, Roderick Strong versus Orange Cassidy for the AEW International title. I think we can all agree, if there's one person that needed to win a title on this show, it was Roderick Strong. No ifs, ands, or buts, but Roddy, if you really want to try to keep the Undisputed Kingdom looking prominent, this was the second step on the show. Wardlow gets the victory in the scramble. Roddy, in a brutal ass whooping of sorts for Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy, they were making out how he's been bruised, he's been battered, but fighting back. But Roddy worked over the back of Orange Cassidy. There was one spot where Roddy, he had a gut wrench and almost in a powerbomb position, just dropped Orange on the top turnbuckle on his back. I mean, just brutal stuff there. Roddy. But Orange managed to fight back. He went for a orange punch in the end, but was caught. End of heartache by Roddy for the win. And Roderick Strong is the new international champion. So, Undisputed Kingdom has more gold. Certainly a good aspect. Certainly a good aspect to see. Afterwards, we had a twist, though. So, Kyle O'Reilly, who we have not seen in about 2 years due to neck surgery or neck injury. Have not seen him in a long time, but we know his ties with Strong and Adam Cole and the Kingdom. So, all of a sudden we see a intense Kyle O'Reilly. He appears out of nowhere behind Roderick Strong. And it looks like he's been growing his hair out because, yeah, his hair was long. But he looked incensed as he saw Roddy and he saw the Kingdom. And they were joyous to see each other after so long. So, Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly, they hugged each other for a bit, and then Mike Bennett, he then took off his Undisputed Kingdom shirt to offer it to Kyle O'Reilly to offer to join the group. And after careful consideration, because it looked like possible, but Kyle O'Reilly, he not put on the shirt, he then put it on Strong's shoulder, and he whispered something in Strong's ear and walked out of the ring. Very emotional. So, I don't know what's in store for Kyle O'Reilly. I don't know. But it's good to see him back. Obviously great for Undisputed Kingdom. Roddy Strong. Right outcome. More gold to the Undisputed Kingdom. FTR first, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. Obviously, the match oversees the feud. As we know, the feud has been not that great. Yeah, nonetheless, yeah. But considering the fact that now the tag team titles are vacated and there's going to be a tournament, clearly this match was for supremacy and momentum as we gear towards a tournament. And I wasn't sure, but Moxley and Claudio got the win. So, Moxley and Claudio, they had a nice little tribute to the Road Warriors type with some spikes on their shoulders. Cool stuff there. But match was solid. As we expect. Was it needed? Probably not. But they wanted these guys on the show. So first, the story of the match was how banged up FTR is. They worked on the ribs of Cash after his slam through the barricade. So yeah, for a while, being on Cash for Dax finally popped in. So now all of a sudden business picked up. So Dax actually was busted open. You know, people can still criticize Moxley for how much he bled. People don't realize how little Moxley has been bleeding as of late. So I mean, that stick is kind of over. So Blackpool Combat Club had a big airy crash, then for near fall. FTR followed back. They hit a spike pile driver, but then was broken up by Claudio. Moxley hit a cutter, followed with a giant swing by Claudio. FTR would manage to hit the Shatter Machine, but then was broken up. On the outside, as they were fighting, Claudio hit a neutralizer. Dax hit a pile driver onto Mox. Mox would hit a Death Rider, but would be countered. Finally, Blackpool Combat Club won with doing chokes and both passed out. So Blackpool Combat Club get a brutal win over FTR. Calling match. Just, yeah, the feud was so and so. I think we can agree on that. But we'll see. Going into the tournament, Moxley and Claudio tag team going forward. Can't appreciate. Toni Storm versus Deonna Purazzo. First of all, let me just say that Mariah May certainly had me and a number of people fooled. As credit to her, she looked great as the old Toni Storm. And then all of a sudden we saw Toni Storm make her entrance, and then it's like, oh, unique. First, Deonna Purazzo. Purazzo, very technical aspect as you expect of this match. Went for an armbar early on Toni, but Toni managed to get to the ropes. Deonna actually hit a knee. Good knee on Toni, but Toni would fight back. She would get the advantage, hit a hip attack, followed with a DT for a near fall. So, trying to ease the odds, John Purazzo hit a dive to the outside on both Toni Storm and Luther. So there we go. So John will eventually lock in an armbar and Toni would tap, but the referee was distracted. And finally, not much here, but Toni hit a Storm Zero on Deonna for the win. So yeah, Toni retains. Cool stuff, cool stuff. Match. We had expectations going into this match between Takeshita and Ospreay. And they certainly delivered. We can appreciate between these two. Great stuff to see. Solid stuff here between this match. Of course, it's booked in corner because of Ospreay's first official AEW match. And then Takeshita is on a wave of momentum. But these two certainly delivered. So, bad back and forth. Filling each other out, but first big spot as Takeshita hit a delayed superplex. I mean, Takeshita is strong, built like a tank, so if any of this proves is both need to be dead set forward on or two guys that needs to be built around for AEW going forward. So yeah, delayed superplex by Takeshita and a big forearm. Will fired back with a springboard forearm followed with a enziguri. Takeshita, good spot here. He had a set F5. Went for a senton off the ropes, but Will got the knees up. He had a Spanish fly. And then these two are trying to take each other's heads off with two big forearm shots back and forth. Ay. So, eventually Will would get the advantage back. He had a thrust kick and went for an off cutter, but one of the big spots in the match, Takeshita caught Will and delivered a blue thunder bomb for a near fall. Eventually Will would hit the off cutter, and then another big spot. So they were on the ropes. Takeshita went for a suplex and suplex Will onto the turnbuckle. So back first onto the turnbuckle. And we saw in the post show scrum, Will had a big lump on his back. So you can tell he's feeling it. And he said he wanted to cry. So you can tell. So, good spots here, back and forth. Will went for a big elbow, but Takeshita countered, and modified tombstone followed a German suplex combination, which she does very well. Well, then would hit a big elbow, fell with a big lariat by Takeshita, turning Will inside out. Very interesting flurry of moves for Will to win this match. So, he would hit a Styles Clash, paying homage to the guy he says really got his big break first against AJ Styles. They had Tiger Driver 91, which it looked safer. It looked first to Takeshita than it did against K Omega. I mean, because it's like a 40-minute match. Both were tired. Yeah, it looked like it was more forced than first Kenny, which here looked like it was safer. So a real move to look at, but looked like it was safer. Good to see. Still dropped people on their heads, but at least it was safer. Looked to be. And then Ospreay won with a hidden blade to the back of Takeshita's head. 1, 2, 3. And Will Ospreay gets the victory. Excuse me, his first match of being all elite. Good stuff there. Afterwards, Don Callis was applauding and seeing the work of his two family members. So, Kyle Fletcher, another member of the Don Callis family, a former member of the United Empire. I'm not sure if he's still a part, but either way. Will Ospreay, they agreed in the middle of the ring. They had a warm embrace and threw up the crowns of the United Empire. And Excalibur noted that on Wednesday's Dynamite, matches penciled in. Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Unique match, certainly to say. Will Ospreay going through the ranks of Don Callis family. It's unique to say so. Yeah, we'll see. So, prior to watching the show, I saw a report saying that the main event would be this match. And I think we all got the feeling that if Darby and Sting in the main event, or was going to be in the main event, then self-explanatory that Samoa Joe was going to retain. If the World Title match was going to be in the main event, then it seemed more likely that Swerve could win, but it just, with the circumstances, didn't feel like it was going to happen. And I was confused, but then this match came up next, so either way it was fun. Swerve versus Hangman versus Samoa Joe for the AEW World Championship. Triple threat. Fun match. Good to see. Samoa Joe, big man style, and heated rivals, but they did work together for a portion of this match to take out Joe. Wasn't for long, but they did try to avail. So they hit a double powerbomb with Joe. Swerve went for a roll for a near fall. So much heated. So Hangman, he had a tombstone powerbomb done by Swerve. Good spots and coordination as so Joe hit a muscle buster on Hangman, followed by a swerve stomp by Swerve. He hit a house call on both Joe and Hangman, went for the pin on Hangman but only got a near fall. Swerve offense on Joe, went for a DT and 450 followed a swerve stomp, but for two because Hangman got the referee, in which was heated, threw him out of the ring. And Hangman did this with a couple of refs. So I wonder if he's going to be, say, fined or suspended. Probably both. They'll say. So he hit Swerve with the title belt a few times, and he hit not one but two buckshot lariats on Joe in the ring, but only for their fall. So Joe got the advantage back. He locked in a choke on Hangman by a Sky Twister by Swerve, broke that up. And then Hangman attacked another ref, threw him out of the ring. Hangman hit a buckshot on Joe, and then Swerve hit a buckshot on Hangman, followed a JML driver. But finally another ref came in. So Joe walked in a choke on Hangman, and good spot, noticing. So Swerve was in the corner. Looked like he wanted to break things up. And Hangman, because his hatred for Swerve not letting him be world champion, he tapped out Samoa Joe, knowing that Swerve was close by, looking to break things up. And yeah, Hangman refusal and Swerve just looking perplexed and shocked that that's how it is. And that's how he's going to lose his chance to be world champion. Now, I get it. Swerve is on a great deal of momentum, and seeing him in a world title match not winning, I get it. At the same time, like I mentioned the other day, Swerve's moment, and then Swerve's moment was only going to be drowned out by Sting's retirement match. So while I get this stuff, it would have been, you want to have Swerve have his moment, and it just didn't feel like tonight or Sunday night was the time. Even though you could have argued, certainly. But great for Samoa Joe. At least get a proper defense in, because we don't know how much longer he's going to have that title. Swerve's there. So Wardlow won the scramble early in the show. So we'll see. But how can you not love Samoa Joe as world champion? That's the tricky part. Then the main event for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. The Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, versus Darby Allin and Sting. This was alluded to it a bit earlier. Was just a chaotic, all over the place, but fun match. And yes, this match was, all over the place, tables, ladders, glass. I mean, not more needs to be said. So they started fighting on the outside, tornado attack, fought their way up to the stage area. So crazy stuff there. So there were tables set up on both sides of the stage. Nicholas hit a Falcon Arrow on Darby threw tables off the stage. Matthew hit. It's so weird calling them by their proper names. So Matthew hit a suplex to Sting off the stage through a couple tables zone. Great thing here having Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair, Lex Luger, Sting's sons dressed up as former versions of Sting. Great thing. David Crockett, he was there as well. Yeah. So, going back to, I'll mention the spot, but there was actually one glass table they took out from underneath the ring, and then Sting tried to use his bat on one of the Bucks and wound up bashing against one of the glass tables, and they broke. But we'll talk about the spot. So after Darby was powerbombed onto a ladder, he fought back, and there was a glass table set up on the chairs. And Darby, Jeff Hardy, like risk taker extraordinaire, as JR would say back in the day. Swanton bomb off the ladder, through the glass table. Matt moved out of the way. I think we can all agree that Darby was down, and then you see all the blood, and you're like, well, he's at least done for us a match. But the fact that Darby actually got back up, imagine, jeez. So, Young Bucks tried to use the tall belts, but Ricky Steamboat wouldn't have it, and then he got hit with a chair. So Sting, it was almost like a handicap match at this point. So he's thrown to the table, but he didn't sell it. Sting's way of, Young Bucks try to fight back super kicks, and EVP trigger, but Sting would not be denied. So finally, they went for what they now call the Tony Khan driver. So Nicholas, he was on the top rope, and all of a sudden Darby, because apparently there was a table set up on the other side of the ring, Darby shoved Nick off the top rope through this table, and then Matthew was dropped with a death drop by Sting. Darby was back all bloody, and probably glass all in it. Hit a coffin drop to Matthew, and then Sting would follow up with a scorpion death lock, and Matthew tapped out, and Sting in his final match retires undefeated as a champion. Sting and Darby Allin retain the tag team titles, at least then. Damn, that was some ending to Sting's in-ring career. Yeah. I mean, you can complain about the non-selling and stuff. In the end, yes, Darby's spot was somewhat over the top. I mean, there was a point where Sting was actually thrown into a glass table as well. I mean, was it over the top? Yes. Was it needed? Nope. But as long as Darby's okay. I mean, I can appreciate for Sting's last match, Darby wanting to do what he wanted to. I mean, obviously people criticize, and I get it to a T that Tony Khan should do better in stepping in for spots like that. Yeah, but happened. Darby's okay. Sting's retirement. Hard to put into words, but congrats on a career, Sting. Yeah. It's great to see Sting. Afterwards, Sting thanked Darby. In the retirement speech, he thanked Darby thank the AEW, thank the Tony Khan, and seeing the AEW faithful and the roster on the stage, thanking Singh. Good reception. I mean, yeah. Certainly appreciate. But with that, guys, of course, that's the review for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy it. I know I did too. Take care for AEW Revolution. That was good. Solid pay-per-view. Very good. And, of course, Dynamite later this week. And then Big Business next week. So keep up with that. For now, guys, thank you all. Be safe. I made Joe to love. And out here now. Like, subscribe if you guys like that and you want to see more of this content. And no drill. Helps out the video, of course. Helps me get recommended as well. So, peace. Thank you guys.